Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Peace Talk. It's Grace. I've been so inspired lately by listening to others share what their experience is like over time doing the work of Byron Katie. That is this profound experience and simple tool, but not necessarily easy, of questioning your thinking, questioning what you believe, questioning your perceptions about life, and most specifically, when they are stressful. It can actually become something you question about absolutely everything. But most of us, if you're like me, are drawn into this kind of self inquiry because we're drawn to dissolving our suffering. We know we're repeating things in our heads that aren't necessarily fruitful or interesting, even, and certainly not beneficial for our daily lives. It's like something really difficult happened, and then we're thinking about it over and over and over again lately. In any case, I've gotten very interested in hearing from other people what it's really like for them to do the work over time, so that we're not necessarily just hearing about an inquiry process like underway, a session, but we're really sitting and listening and talking about the effect of the work and looking at that mind and having it be not just something so believable anymore. So, as many of you know, if you've been listening to Peace Talk in the latest episodes, I've so enjoyed talking with certified facilitators and those who are deeply immersed in the work. And today, I have my first guest who's talking about the work as a regular practice for daily life. She first began to be interested in wanting to change something about her process of parenting. So she entered a parenting program, which was meaningful and wonderful for her. And she talks about then beginning to experience and understand what the work actually was, and it drew her into a greater group practice. So listen today as she shares the profound effect of the work, and we'll be hearing from more people in this particular way over time. But I'm so grateful she was able to join me and willing and had such wonderful things to share that are so inspiring about simply this practice of meditation, this practice of the work of Byron Katie in our lives. All right, so Mary, I love that you're speaking with me today about the year of inquiry. And you're a wonderful person to ask to share about this because you've done it twice, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I always want everyone to do it again. Well, I don't really, but I love it when somebody did that for the first time. I'm like, oh, awesome! I love it. So anyway, you've been there, and let's first go back to remembering what it was like, before, where you were at. I mean, I can't remember if you were brand new to the work. I think you were familiar and introduced to it for sure. But just say a little bit about what was happening there and what drew you to the very idea of being
Yeah, to the year of inquiry thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got introduced to the work through I was doing a parenting online kind of class, like similar to your year of inquiry, but about parenting. And it was the co-parenting piece that drew me to that. And then during that course, that's where the work got introduced as a piece of information that could be used to help in parenting and co-parenting. And then so I learned about the work, and so we started trying to do it with each other as like people in that telecourse. And I just remember my first time that I had the huge trigger with my husband in the parenting thing. I don't remember exactly what was said or done, but I just had such a huge trigger, and I just knew, oh my gosh, this is one of those times I should do one of those worksheets. And so I just quit talking because I knew I was getting into just real big emotions that were really uncomfortable. And so for the first time, I just stopped our conversation, and my son wanted to go to a basketball game. So I told my husband I would be driving him there and staying at the game and not coming directly back home. So I took my worksheet with me. My son went to the basketball game, and I sat in my car and tried to write out my first Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. So,
wow. Yeah, great.
So there it was in the middle of winter in my dark car, trying to figure out what is the work and how do I use it. All I know is I'd been introduced to it at that point. So I wrote out my first one, and then I came home, and it was my first experience of kind of everything had changed by doing that worksheet. And that's all I had done, but it everything had changed. So taking that pause, it's just so
super
even
cool.
without having worked it, just the beginning and the willingness to look at life in the work way. There we went. So that was my first worksheet, and that's how I started, and that has definitely kept me in it, wanting to get a perspective with especially co-parenting and especially my husband. And now I'm finding out 2 years later it's especially all about me, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah. You know what?
It took me 2 years to figure that out.
Right. Well, I love always, it's a process. It's a process. Nothing's instant. But you know what? That is a really sweet story that I have sometimes had that awareness that only writing the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. So just so anyone listening, it's just identifying what you think and believe in that moment about that person that is actually very stressful. So you're saying that you didn't even ask, is it true? You didn't go through the 4 questions. You didn't find turnarounds. You just... No,
I just tried to fill it out for the first time and just thought, okay, I'm going to do this thing. So
that's so cool.
That's as far as I got that day, and it changed everything into a much better trajectory, I felt.
I love
really different, and that was exciting. Yeah.
I sometimes have had that thought, like just being willing to identify your thoughts and put them on paper is, and then like even sharing them with another person if we're doing the work and someone's facilitating it. Oh my God, it's like just the opposite of holding in all those judgments that you think are so horrible that you have. You know, it's like very liberating. That's super cool. I didn't know that was your first experience, that all you did was write the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet.
Yeah, well, that's all I had time for.
Yeah, right.
Then I got the call from the son who said, oh, game is over.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Well, along with that, just that piece of me being willing and noticing that I needed something different. And so,
yeah. So then what happened from there? Like, what do you remember as what was another new step with the work, with just doing the work?
So then I started trying to do it with that group, and we were all new at it. And then I took, and then again through this parenting course, I took Joy Schultz's parenting 6-week thing.
Cool.
She does something on parenting. I can't remember the name of it, but
Judge Your Children.
Yes. So that one, and then so during that, so then I started to, because Joy is a really great facilitator, and she helped me to figure it out in a, more. I felt like she had really good expertise, and it was her own parenting, and through that course, that 6-week thing, I came across this awareness, and it was about my son, that he can handle this, and it was a stressful situation for me at the time, but and then finding out, wow, like that really opened my heart to realize that, oh, my son can handle things. And so I wanted more. I'm like, okay. And then I shared that with my husband because he was open to hearing some stuff about it. So I talked to him a little bit about the work in a way that wasn't attacking him, in a way that was showing him how I was trying to understand our son. And so he was intrigued with it. He hasn't really done it, but it was great. And also the other one with that was finding that your children like don't need to be happy. And that was another is it true thing in that. That was a really deep thing for both my husband and I, finding like kind of some of our parenting stuff was because we just wanted these kids to be happy. And so that got me into you. And so I found out about your thing and just felt like, yeah, I want to know not just about parenting and not just about kids. I want to know all about it. And here I am.
I love it. You know, you never know the doorway in of what will be, I don't know, what will be painful or what will be meaningful or what you notice. Yes, I have a belief about that. And I would like to question it. And it's just whatever the doorway is. So that's, I don't know, that's wonderful. Yeah. So then, okay. So then you saw the year of inquiry. I always get intrigued by people's thoughts about, wait, there's a class or a program that is an entire year. Of course, you already had been in one already, the parenting one. That was a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So this wasn't that.
And
yeah.
So I really liked that. I was feeling the support of having like-minded people, like all those people in that parenting course. They were there for different reasons, but the core thing was parenting. So it was nice just touching base with people and having some of that accountability factor in there. And fun watching people grow, and then fun watching people tell you that where they see that you're growing. And so I think I was really grooving on that. So
yeah,
I was looking for more consistent accountability and knowing like that worked well for me, so that I would stick with it and get that support.
Yeah, I think that's I find that too, been really drawn to things like that where you're over time, you're gonna be in every season or allow things to happen. It's not just gonna be 6 weeks or 8 weeks of something, or, you know, it's not just information, it's a practice. It's like practicing.
Yeah, and that's what it came to be, and that's what I'm so excited. I think that's why I needed to do the second year, because the first year of inquiry, just figuring it out, trying to figure out what it meant to me, and then I didn't, and I felt I just wanted more confidence with it. So that really is what I felt like. I felt like, well, then after the first year of inquiry, feeling like, oh, this isn't ending. This is a practice, and really enjoy the way that you have the flexibility in the year of inquiry, and just you can come, you can go full on every day, or you can kind of not show up. It felt that really was a good fit for me because I can get intimidated. So it felt really unintimidating and really inviting. And I knew I could get as much as I wanted, and I knew I wanted to get a practice. So that was kind of my second year of it, was trying to find out how does the work for me, and what does my practice look like in my life. And it's starting to feel like I kind of have something like that, and it's fun. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. Well, when you going back to first year, and I just love you give yourself whatever, that's inspiring to me still, like just apparently I'm on the 15-year program so far. Or I don't know, lifetime program, lifetime. But when you first, came into year of inquiry, and you're just like starting this practice, and here are the times we meet live, and we also share online in a forum so you can write. I mean, and there's a different topic, of course, every month touching. You could almost, sometimes I think of each topic could be for months instead of just 1 month. But how did that just start feeling as you remember, I don't know, the fall and the whole thing beginning and being able to share your thoughts, the whole, and worksheets with other people on phone calls? Yeah, how was that?
It was really scary at first just because I didn't feel like I knew how to do the worksheet or whatever. So I just thought, oh, I don't want to do this. But well, you had matched me up with somebody who had done it quite a bit, and I think had been maybe in the year of inquiry with you before, or had done something else with you. And so he was just really so encouraging. So that was great, just mentoring each other. And so it was somebody else in the world saying, oh, you can't do this wrong. And then he shared his story of how he got involved with work, and then I just kind of relaxed from there. But it was pretty scary. And then also trying to explain it to my family, what I was doing. That was probably the weirdest part. And so I, at first, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my kids then were in school full-time, so I would schedule everything around when people wouldn't be around, and it wouldn't inconvenience anybody else. So just something new of doing self-care. That felt, I think I must have some shame or insecurities around needing or allowing my family to know, like, I need some support, and it's not going to be from you. It's from this other source. So I felt like I was kind of betraying them, like, you're not enough for me. I need this other thing. So that took a while. But now, as I've gotten bolder and as I've gotten paired with people who live in other countries, I've had to do it in the evening when my whole family is here. And so it's just been great. So it's like, oh, I have to do this because I'm connecting with Australia. And so now they see that it's something that I like, and they want me to do things that I like. And it isn't anything shameful at all. It's like they make it work for me. And a year or 2 years ago, I just wouldn't have felt like that would be real, and it is real. And so that's fun. Like, my reality is a lot more supportive than I had thought it might be.
Isn't that something? I love, what a
it's
cool,
so cool.
Yeah, what a cool little bonus of, like, just noticing. That's great. Yeah. Now
and they like that I have something that I do, because I've been so focused on being a stay-at-home mom. I think maybe they've wondered, like, is that all you do is momming and running and yoga? And it's like, oh, no, I do this other thing, and it's kind of cool. And so it's brought me to the retreats, which has been fun, and that I think they're excited that I am showing interest outside of just the home. It makes them maybe feel like it's okay for them to grow up. Mom has things, so it's been really cool.
Yeah, it's like a modeling of somebody. That's beautiful. So sweet. And retreats, I remember you came to the retreats, which we have optional retreats in Year of Inquiry. Some people come and some people don't. They decide, if they're coming. And isn't it the first time you were away from your kids or something
Yes, and traveling alone. Yes. We kind of traveled together, but I'd never just done an air flight and done my own thing. Yeah.
That was so amazing. I just love it.
Yeah.
And there you were. There you were in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, so sweet. What would you say about retreats, even though I know it's not necessarily, there's so many people who also live so far away. They're not going to come to a retreat. But, yeah.
Well, for me, first it was just kind of like, I'm going to do this, like kind of proving something to myself. I'm doing this. And and I think I've heard other people say this. So I've done 2 with you in Seattle. I did 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring, and then I just went to Brighton Bush. So each time it just slowed the work down. Like or maybe I'm just finally slowing down, and my thinking is slowing down a little bit. So it's just so beautiful to allow yourself to just be there, and just calming.
Yeah.
So hard to explain, but I think so much less distraction. So the intent is just to come and do the work however it shows up. And each retreat had its very own flavor and a different group of people, and they were each wonderful. So
it's sometimes one joyful thing from my side is watching people come to retreat, especially when they've known each other in an online program, like they're in Year of Inquiry, and they've heard each other's voices and maybe seen each other on screen, on video, and now they're in person, and it's just so sweet the way technology is these days, that we get to know each other and can meet before we actually meet in person. That's always, I don't know, there's just something kind of wonderful about that.
That for sure was kind of exciting. Last year I did the spring one in Seattle, and a lot of people from that Year of Inquiry went. I can't remember how many, maybe 5. And definitely I was like, what, you have blonde hair? Because I definitely knew the voice, but I would never have put that face, and that was really neat. Yeah, I liked that a lot.
So much fun. It's almost like it's part of the work. It's like showing how we form images in our minds of what our thoughts are, just like creative imagining, the way the mind works. And then you get to kind of meet it. It's just very fun. Yeah. Well, so what happened that you wound up deciding to do a second Year of Inquiry? I know you mentioned that just a little bit, but how did you know? Yeah.
Well, so I kind of reflected back on, I think we wrote a letter or something at the beginning of the Year of Inquiry, and just the longing for the sense of peace and joy, like in my inner self, it was still there. I definitely was feeling much more peaceful, but not, I felt like the work was working for me, and if I delved in a little deeper, that maybe I'd access this longing that I was having, because it felt like I was going in the right direction, but wasn't quite there yet, and wanted to face some things with my relationship with my husband, and I just really liked the support that I'd established within the group and the rapport with you, watching and listening to you facilitate people kind of in a bold way that was really supportive. And through that whole year and through my whole experience with you, I just had never witnessed somebody like being pushed too far, because that's one of my fears that I'd had. Like, I can't face this, I'll get, it'll get too like blown up, or too like that I would push my husband too far, or make him blow up too far somewhere that I couldn't come back to, like in an unsafe way. So I felt like I wanted support in inquiring more within my relationship with him in ways that on my own I'd be afraid. And so I thought, I like this support, and it worked. And I did definitely question some things in our relationship that did cause really big emotions, and it was really okay. And so doing work before maybe going into some of these instances with him. Probably also brought it down a notch and brought me down a notch. So I was really interested in that. And so I would say
that's cool. Yeah.
That I trusted your facilitation and wanted through my worksheets before doing it in person. And so I did, and it was great. And so kind of a safety net, I guess. And so an established relationship, an established trust, and I felt like that's what I needed, and I used it, and it worked. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so sweet. Wonderful to be on the journey, really. I just love everybody's process. But yeah, was it helpful to be like in the different topics again? Like just return the same topic. Here we go. We start with September and family of origin in October, and kind of like.
Well, for sure, because something that made me laugh is just, I think you said, or whoever has said, like, there are no new problems.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to see, I'm still having things that are triggering me with this kind of belief system. And that really also neutralized and almost made it humorous. Like, because last year this was so upsetting to me. And now I'm just saying, like, it's the same thing. It's really funny. Kind of like, and I worked through that. And so kind of working through it again, different scenario, but same belief. It really neutralized the power of what was happening, and that was cool to see. And I'll probably have another one, and that was great to see. Like, that's not a failure, that's just life, because I was feeling like I needed to clear everything out, and then I would just be perfectly happy, and nothing would go wrong. But it just turned out, I'll have more triggers, but I'll recognize them, and they won't feel devastating. They'll feel like kind of like this again. Sometimes it's a drag because I don't want it, but sometimes really curious, like, really, I didn't think this would happen again. And so it changed the energy around it and made it a familiar territory, so it wasn't so scary.
Love that. That's so sweet. Isn't that what we really want? It's like being in touch with this is how it is, and it's being aware and not being aware, and feeling triggered and not feeling triggered, and kind of having the gap close between super serious, oh my God, it's terrible, or having that gap close that just becomes calmer, but not very odd in some ways with the work, because it's really just questions, and there isn't any clear goal except peace. I'm interested in peace, what's going on, and like, very interesting. Yeah. Well, I love you've been in the year of inquiry, and I can't remember if you were in summer camp the first year. Now we're going into summer camp again.
I was, and that was something too. It was a financial piece. I was trying to figure out how to afford it. And then there was dialogue with that, and it was just fun working through some beliefs about money, and then just getting creative and getting honest, and so that was great too, because I don't generally spend much just on myself, and I had a little savings account that was my emergency savings account, and it was fun to kind of do the work on that. I guess this is an emergency. I need to do something different, and writing that first check was, it was like a credit card payment, but I did the transfer into my checking account for it. And it was like, wow, so I'm doing this. This is my emergency. So, and what a great emergency to have, because I had imagined some really other wild emergencies that I might need this money for that I had kind of slowly saved up over the years.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was great. Yeah. So just really kind of coming clean in so many ways and having the money sit there. Yeah. So
I love that. So cool.
And it took me kind of the summer working through that to figure out, well, do I want to do this? Don't I want to do this? Is this how I want to use this money?
Yeah. I love that. That's so cool. That's in some ways that's what summer camp is for. It's kind of like having that there so that people can try and jump in and do the work. You're doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing, and I love that everything comes up because it's just a hodgepodge, but of all kinds of people involved, but one thought at a time. Whatever appears, you get to sample it and get the hang of it. But that's cool. Yeah.
And then it's funny. Then after that, for the second year, I was just like, oh gosh, well I can't afford to not do this. So it was like such the turnaround. And just thinking of, well, if I went to 1 or 2 counseling sessions a month, it would be the same price as the year of inquiry per month. And just found these ways that were like, yeah, and it just really just made sense to me, and I could afford it. So it's not, I didn't do it in a way that was not smart for my family dynamic. So, but it just felt so different because it was like, oh yes, I'm doing this, and and I can't afford to not do it on so many different levels, and so that was fun little turnaround.
So sweet. Well, I sure appreciate what you've brought to me personally in my life, and just hearing your voice and your work and your sharing and the deepest intention and integrity to always be looking at your thoughts with this work in the way that works for you. That's what it's all about. No pushing, like just, wow,
I think that's what I love about you the most. Like, you don't push.
Yeah.
So that was so important for me.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. Because
you're welcome.
Yeah, I didn't need to get anywhere, and I needed that, and so you're just beautiful, and I love how you do it, and I do listen to different podcasts and things of other people, and there are lots of different ways to do it, and so it's like, and I love the way that you do it. So,
so great.
You've got a great way, and it really was a good fit for me. And I think I'll be back. I don't think I'm gone, but I'm just not signing up for a third year of inquiry. But
yes.
Hopefully, I will hook into all those people that I've met, and probably.
I love that.
Do your Friday call. I think you have your first Friday of the month, and just different things to really pursue it without a schedule, and then find out. We'll see. Like you said, you're doing different things with your programming, so maybe I'll
and
have a good fit that's a month or or whatever different creative things you do. I have a feeling we'll see each other again.
I have a feeling of that too. I just love it. I love all the people everyone gets to meet. Some people say that they met somebody in the first year of inquiry and they still do the work with that person, like they're still partnering. And that was like, I think that was 2011. So it's been a while, and what a sweet thing, to find somebody you really, really think with, and you can share such profound work. It's just wonderful. And one thing that's added, keep this in mind, Mary, is people who've done the year of inquiry before can come and go. Like if you feel like you really need a little tune-up, you can just come for a month. So I just thought, why wouldn't I do that? I mean,
you'll probably see me drift in then.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, oh, that's a great idea. People have kind of asked for, and then as soon as I somebody asked a little more clearly, I was like, oh, well, why wouldn't that work? That's perfect. And they can even be paired up and partnered with somebody for the month and
Great.
yeah,
Great.
and go. So it's it's wonderful. So awesome, Mary. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Well, thank you, Grace.
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
grateful. Grateful for your work. Grateful for your
Mm,
deep work in life.
Thank you. It's been great.